Welcome to the session, guys. I hope you have been well. Today we are going to continue with the last discussion we had when we met live. Diagnosis of organizational change. That is the overall. You can call it the topic or whatever you want to call it. It falls under organizational change. So, how to diagnose organizational change? Couple of things we would want to quickly talk about and then maybe reflect on. So, please see if some pointers come in your little head. please, please share them with us. So, diagnosis of organization, how to um, how to uh, how to how to go about what are different models or different techniques which can be used in terms of diagnosis and so on. Yes. Okay. So couple of things you might already be familiar with. It is good time to go through them again, but in your own time, of course. Things like these SWOT SWOT analysis, pest analysis, or pestle analysis, industry analysis. So SWOT, for example, as you already know, SWOT: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, those type of things. So start reflecting in your head what you know already about these type of analysis. And in a moment, I will also include some of the pointers which I want you to reflect on. PEST, for example, political, economical, social, technology related, and sometimes they call it PESTL, which includes laws, regulation. L is for laws, regulations, industry analysis. These type of things you would want to think about uh, as you try to find out what are some of the ways in which you should manage organizational change. So you can call it management of organizational change, or you can call it diagnostic analysis. Yes. So think about this organizational environment. You would have to definitely think about the environment in which the organization is in. So for example, these things which you are seeing on your screen: static versus dynamic. So one thing is, let's try to think about some examples. So let's say your university. When you send an email to someone in the university, do you get a reply right away, or it takes forever to find the reply? And when you get the reply,
You
is
don't
it
get to
you?
reply at all.
Sorry, please go ahead.
You don't get a response at all.
You don't get a response at all. Yes, so that can also happen sometimes. So if that is the case, what is the environment? Is it static or dynamic? So it is not dynamic at all, it is very static. So you would send an email and you won't get a response. So when you don't get a response, what happens? Can you share some of the things what happens with you? You feel anxiety, you feel unnecessary pressure, you feel what is happening, you feel lost, you don't know where to go. And when you are in that mode, mindset we spoke about in the last live session, when your mindset is like that, anxiety and stress and all of that, you cannot focus on your real job, which is to study, or which is to focus on the courses, or not just study, to be honest, extracurricular activity, other things, enjoyment on the campus. All those things are part of learning. So when that happens, those things get compromised. Yeah. So a little, how much time it takes to reply, it should not take a lot of time. But then people don't reply to emails. Generally speaking, very few people will reply and quickly reply, and how useful. So this is just an example of of an environment, a small example of communication, email response. So so think about this. So on the other hand, if they can when they don't reply, what happens? Is there Is there any penalty on them? Is someone checking if people are replying to the emails or not? No, nothing like that. So there is no cost for the person per se who is in authority position if they reply or if they do not reply. There is no per se, there is no cost, there is no disadvantage for them. And you can link it with other issues which you would face in the university in all of this. So simple and complex, hostile, you can think about that. Hostility is another issue. So you go again, you go to some office for some whatever you have to say, and then that thing is not done in 2 days, 3 days, a week. You go again, what type of response you get? Is it a friendly response or is it a hostile response? And the person says, oh, I have lost your thing, and it takes time, and whatever they have to say. So all of these things are the environment, organizational environment. So in this, you are talking about organizational change, to bring change. How would you change people's behavior? This, I was just giving this simple example because all of us would relate to this type of example, I think. So that is, but you can think about any other example also based on your experience. So when the situation is static, the practices are static in the organization, then innovation is not going to happen, because innovation, new idea generation, that is linked with dynamic nature, back and forth, cooperation or exchange of ideas, those type of things. So what I'm trying to say, that when we are talking about diagnostic analysis or evaluation or managing organizational change, when an organization is not even complying to the basic needs of their customers, you as customers and university as the as the owner of all the processes, when these small things are not happening in a timely fashion, in the coherent way, then you cannot really bring organizational change in that. You first thing is to get rid of these basic issues, I think. Yeah, otherwise, when these simple things are not happening and you bring in the more complex dynamics of changing someone's behavior or something like that, that becomes very very difficult. So in here, you would want to look at organizational environment, whole environment, in which it is operating, starting from people, starting from their behaviors. All of those things you would want to consider as you start to think about which organizational model you will use to manage the organizational change, and so on. Yeah, so these things which I was trying to talk: dynamic environment, complex environment, hostile environment. You would want to read a little bit more in detail about these things and see how other scholars are explaining these type of concepts. You can use YouTube and so on, run some searches and so on. Levels at which change can be diagnostic. Yeah, so starting from a simple employee, individual person, or customer. You can think about customers also in this. So individually speaking, one person at a time, and then group teams, and then bigger areas, departments, and even open systems, and so on. uh, but it all starts with understanding different personalities, how different personalities behave, their responses, understanding. Again, it will go back to I think the first session where we were talking about understanding our own personalities, and then understanding, trying to make sense of why people do the things which they do. What is the reason? So let me link it with the earlier example which I gave. When people are not responding to emails, and you want to change that behavior in the organization, you would want to understand that why people are not responding to your email. Of course, it is not the case where these people are not responding to any email at all. It is not that case. They are responding to emails, but they are deciding which emails to respond first and second and so on. So why your email is it being recorded right now? Yes, it is. Yeah. So what was I saying? It is not the case where they are not responding to all email. They are not responding to all emails. They are not responding to your email. So why they are not responding? So maybe they are not. There can be different reasons. Maybe they don't have time. Maybe they have time, but they have too many things to do. Maybe they are overworked. So because they are overworked, they are saying, all right, let me respond. I'm not trying to justify anyone's behavior. We are just trying to understand why people would not respond to your email. What can be some of the reasons? So overwork can be one thing. uh, they are not happy with their environment, their work. So they are also working in the university, and they are not happy about it for some reason. They are not getting the appreciation of their hard work. They are not maybe paid well. They are they are just overall unsatisfied. Maybe they are just unsatisfied with their life generally. Yeah, they are not. So they are trying to vent that out on someone, and this is let me. Maybe other people are not responding to their emails, and they are taking it out on you. So people don't respond to my emails. Why should I respond to your email? Yeah, those type of. So you would want to understand that why people are doing something. So you don't get angry and upset in change management. If you really want to change someone's behavior, I would advise that try not to become upset. Yes, there are some circumstances where you will have to get upset and show that side also. But generally speaking, not getting upset and trying to understand why someone is doing the way they are doing, what is the reason. So for example, this thing, 40 minutes, 40 questions, midterm exam. This is, of course, this time is very tight. So, but you need to understand why someone has thought that this is the way out. Maybe because I told you one thing. Maybe the cheating area. Maybe people will try to, if they have more time, maybe they will try to find the answer somewhere online. Yeah, because so many things are available. Those questions would be coming from somewhere, from some instructor's manual or something like that. Maybe if people have more time, they will go in those areas and try to find the answers to those questions and so on. Yes, so they are trying to minimize that behavior, but in doing that, just like one friend wrote in the text, that the system is, are they trying to fail us, or no, of course not. That is not in their benefit. If so many people fail, it don't look good for the university, or the course instructor or whoever. It don't look good that so many people fail. So yeah, of course, that is not the. So this is, you need to find some compromise in that situation. It is difficult, very difficult to find compromise in those type of situations. So these are some of the things you would want to think in bigger organizations also. These are the same type of issues which you want to think about. Yeah. So this was like internally, maybe, inside individual perspective, groups, open systems, department level. Another side is external analysis. We spoke about it in the last live session also, if I can recall. Maybe you guys can give some examples from your own experience, if that would be nice. So customers, we were saying that customers requirements keeps on changing. They are talking about here, for example, new technology. It can be new product, customer preference change. But let's try to think about some example. I think, um, Look at how customer preference has changed during these times of COVID-19. Maybe people are not going in the restaurant to dine out. Maybe they go, but they get it packed and they bring it home, or they just order online and it is delivered home, and those type of things. So so this is a change in the pattern or consumption of the consumer because of something which happened in the external environment, which was COVID-19. But there can be other things also. Yes, so for example, lunchtime, you have a restaurant, and in the lunchtime you understand that people would want to have lunch, they they cannot come to your restaurant, and they cannot afford for you to charge them for the delivery or something like that. So maybe some model you would want to think that, okay, the delivery is free if you buy more than this. If your order is more than this amount, the delivery is free. So they would put in their marketing campaign, they would put this word free just to grab your attention. But if you look at it, it is not free, because they have somehow calculated their cost, and they think that they are okay. That is why they said that if you buy more than 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000, then the delivery is free. It is not free if you are buying for 500, because then it don't help them. So this is a technique which they are using. They are playing with your psyche also by putting in the word free, and then they are also helping your circumstances, that you cannot maybe come to the restaurant, and if you pay for the delivery also, it becomes too expensive for you, something like that. So all of these things are, you can link it with other courses which you study. I try to link it with for example, marketing course, economic environment. These things we spoke about in the last live session, if you can reflect on changing market trends, for example. Yeah, let's talk about this one. Market trends. So you will be graduating soon, even if it is 1 year or 1.5 year, it is still, before you know, it will be time to graduate. So are you spending some time in looking at the market trend in terms of employability? What is your plan to seek jobs after you graduate? So you need to start thinking about from now. You need to see where the market trend is going. So what is the external environment, external situation? Uh, COVID-19 and all those things, you know that. But even without coronavirus, how is the economic productivity of the country? Even before COVID-19, the job market was tight. Not a lot of production and productivity going on. So jobs are less and people are more who are going, especially, in a lot of people graduate. We spoke about this, I think, in the last session in another way. But what I'm trying to talk about is market trend right now. So you would want to see that what is the trend in the market, what type of jobs which you can do, or you are prepared to do, or your degree has prepared you to do. What type of those jobs would be available in the market once you graduate, and you start preparing for those. You start doing, for example, your capacity building. That is one of the slides which we would be talking about in today's session, capacity building and all. So you need to do those things from now, not when you are graduating. That is not the time. This is the time to look at market trend. This is the customer. For example, who will be your customer? These people who are employing uh, you, they are your customer, because they will pay you for the services, and you will be fulfilling some of their desires, some of their whatever they require from you. So you want to make them happy or whatever, in that sense. So you need to be proactive in this time right now, thinking about these things, that what you can offer to the market when you graduate, looking at the market trends, looking at the economic situation of the country, which is more heavily burdened after COVID-19. So these are some things which you would want to think about. And the answer will not come very quickly and easily. This is something which you will have to reflect over a period of time and then find out what the answers are. Yeah, and same thing you will do for in the organization, because the broader topic is organizational change. So an organization do the same thing. These organizations which are, their businesses are also decreased because of these times. Some businesses have decreased profits. There are other businesses which have increased profits. Which are the businesses which have increased profits? Because those are the businesses which have been working on their capacity building over a period of time. That is why they were able to go into different areas. For example, businesses which were not producing masks or not producing sanitizers, they started doing that. How? Very quickly. How? Because they were building their capacity, overall capacity, not per se to make mask or something like that, but overall stitching and whatever needs to be done in these type of situations. They were building their capacity and then they made profit out of that. Yeah. So you can fit it in any situation. I think it can be in individual change. You can fit this slide extent in organizational change, in your own career path. You can think about this thing. This is very interesting. Some theories, some models which of course, as you are reading the book, you will read them in more detail. And change iceberg. What is an iceberg? Reflect on that iceberg. You can see a little bit tip on the top, but you cannot see what is behind the below the water, below the sea level. So iceberg, only tip of iceberg is seen above, which everyone can see, but a bigger part of ice is below the water. Titanic, for example, they uh, all the story of Titanic, what happened to that. So iceberg. So think about this iceberg. You can see what is obvious, what is above the sea level, but you cannot see what is below in the water. You can't see that. Same is when you are dealing with individuals. You can see what they are saying, their body language and their facial expression, just like you can see me right now and hear me. But you cannot really see what is behind the iceberg. What is behind the iceberg? uh, I don't think you can. Maybe you can, but I don't think. You would know better if you can see why I'm saying what I'm saying. Can you analyze why I why I why I why I spoke about this situation, that you need to prepare from now and don't wait and look at the market trends and start preparing for employability from now. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. So that is some information which I did not give to you. That was. Let me look at the next slide. This is it. This is iceberg. So the upper part, this blue line, water level. This is what I told you, that you need to start looking at market trends and all of that and start preparing for employability. But you can't see why I am saying that. This is below the surface. You can't. So now I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. So because when I was doing my undergrad, I did not prepare for uh, my employability after graduating. I started preparing for that after graduating. So I paid a big price for that. I think that was a big mistake I did. Yeah. So I should not have done that. In retrospect, if I can go back, which I cannot, I would have prepared for. I would not, like, after the session, after the classes, I would not waste my time in other activities, like like we were talking about various things in last live session. I would think about these things and then not just think, then start working on them proactively and prepare. So because I did not do that, so maybe that is why I'm saying that to you, that maybe you guys should do that. Will you do that? Will you do that? No, you are not going to do that. Most of you are just keep on enjoying your life and say, all right, we will cross the bridge when it comes. That saying, yeah. But I think that, see, this is the dilemma in change management. Even though I told you that you should work on employability, and then I told you my own example, and I'm in the I told you why I said that. Yeah, something negative about my side. I shared it with you that I did not do that. Please, you should do that. But will it change your behavior? Are you going to think about these things from now and not just tonight, to tomorrow and the day after, and then the day after? You will work on this as you prepare for your exam and other things which you have to do. Will you think about this? Maybe not. So this is the difficulty in changing someone's behavior. People people enjoy the talks, people enjoy listening to other people's experiences, and uh, people are intrigued about these things, and they but to really work on these things, very few people really would understand why I'm saying it and why it is very important, and then they will decide that they need to do this thing also. Same thing happens in the organization. The email example I gave you, same thing in that. Yeah. Other type of organizational change, organizational wide effort, same thing. People they bring in motivational speaker, they bring top notch speakers, they come for to give training, all of those things, that this is how you should manage the organizational change and so on. But once they leave for a couple of hours, couple of days, couple of weeks, that memory is fresh, but then people go back to their normal routine, their habits, where they are they start the routine. Yeah, that is why in change management, routine is quite an interesting topic. To set routines, it is all about routines and so on. But anyways, let me go back. I'm coming back to this slide to see. So these things, you force field analysis, I briefly spoke about it in one of the sessions. Pest, SWOT, and all of these things you would want to think about in your own time. And then they are looking at the issues, management issues. What is they look at these time. These are constraints. Time is always, is there is never enough time. But if we find something important and we want to do it, then we will find time for that. So this is the dilemma in time. On one side, there is never enough time, but we always find time for the things which we find important. Yeah. The same thing in the change management. You are trying to change someone's behavior. They will not have time. So we spoke about that, not responding to email. So yes, they won't have time to respond to our emails, but if they think that this is important for them also, some benefit is for them also, the person who is responding, some benefit for that person also, then they will find time. Yeah, just like all of us find time for the things which are important for us. No matter how busy we are, we find time somehow. And when we don't want to do something, we can easily say, oh, I don't have time, and so on. Yes. So cost, again, you can think about this. Quality, you can think about these things. Yes. Same way, think about these things, these in your own time, based on what I have said. I think you should reflect and try to link it with your examples where you were trying to change someone, or someone was trying to change you, and they could only see this red circle, which is on the top. Yeah, on the top. Yeah, but they did not share the what is below this blue line, this hidden thing below the water. Yeah, iceberg. Yes, they could not see that. From the top it looked very small, and it looked that it is nothing. So from the top, when I say, in this red circle, when I'm saying, please prepare, please look at job trends from now, please prepare for your employability, please learn some skills which will help you to work online or something like that, because the trend is going in that direction. Yeah. So that is this. But when I told you that, look, I did not prepare for employability when I was undergrad, and I had to pay serious cost for that. So please don't do that. Prepare from now. Yes. So that is, I'm sharing this. Yeah. So, but if I can give you more details on that, the more details I can, that will make this story, this line, it will make it more concrete. Yeah. But still it will be concrete for a short period of time as we are talking, and maybe you will reflect before you sleep. And but when you wake up tomorrow, will you remember what I said or not? That will tell us if I told you effectively or not. So if when you wake up tomorrow morning, and in the early hours, this thought which I'm sharing with you, preparing for employability and all that, if it comes to your mind, then I would say that I was effective in my communication. Now you will have to take now the onus is on you. If you work on it, then very good. If you don't work on it, then it is your fault. But if tomorrow morning when you wake up and all this conversation, anything on employability does not come in your mind, then it is not your fault, because I did not communicate it in a way where you could sleep and wake up and it would not come in your mind. Then the problem is, then it is my fault. Yeah. So you need to tell me that whose fault it is when you wake up tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So these things, please think about these things in your own time. Pretty basic, but pretty complex also, I would say. Uh, really hard to change someone's. For example, look at these rectangles in the bottom. I think that is this one. Yeah, these ones, these management of perception and beliefs. Yeah, perceptions. Like right now, you are you are engaging in this conversation, and as I'm saying, I'm sure not all, but some of you are reflecting on these things and try to make sense of what I'm saying. So when you are thinking, you have your own perceptions and your own belief system, what you believe in, or what are your perceptions about things. Yes. So uh, that is really going to make a big difference in organizational change, diagnostic, and even when you have diagnosed and you are implementing the model. What is your belief? What do you believe? uh, uh, your perceptions, because you have formed your beliefs and your perceptions over a period of time. You are not forming them right now. You have formed them over a period of time. Whatever is happening now will show up in maybe coming years. It is not that I tell you something now and you tomorrow morning you will be just changed and you will be say, all right, that happens, but that is not normal way of change. That is not how generally people change. They take some point and then they come back to it if they really liked it, and they reflect it, and over a period of time maybe they will try to change it or something. Otherwise, everyone has their own perception, own belief systems, and they take whatever resonates or whatever syncs with their belief system, and they discard whatever does not sync with their belief system. It is all about belief. It is all about what their thought pattern. What are they thinking about? That is why this all this literature on thinking positive, think good things will happen. All of these things, Why they are important? They are important because of this picture which you are seeing, this belief system. Because look at the top, all of this is dependent on the belief system, and on the other hand it is power and politics and management. Yeah, so reflect on power and politics in your own time, please. Yeah. SWOT analysis, I spoke about it briefly, but let me no, I did not. Let me let me say a couple of things for this. So generally speaking, when we are doing SWOT analysis, we just think that we just line up the strengths and line up the weaknesses and line up the opportunities and line up the threats, and that is the SWOT analysis. But I want to give you one pointer, and I want you to reflect on it, and then you develop your own thoughts on all the things which I am saying. Whatever I am saying is not final word. These are just some pointers which I am sharing, and you need to think what works for you. So the way I look at it, I feel that, sometimes the what you will line as your strength might become weakness in some other situation. So these strengths and weaknesses and all of these things, I would say that they are very dependent on time and space and the situation. What is your strength might not work out as your strength in another situation. Yes, or maybe uh, people would would try to bring you down for something which you thought is your is your strength or something like that. So please reflect on that and try to think about some examples. So for examples, someone's strength can be that they are, let's say they are having good looks. Is, I think personally, I think it is a big strength. Looks are, I think, are important. People judge you from how you look, how you dress up, how you are, how is your deportment and all of those things. So looks. So let's say that there is someone who is beautiful, handsome, or whatever, depending on girl or boy, and they are also hardworking. Yes, so being good looking is their strength, and they are hardworking also, and then they get some promotion. And then the culture, organizational culture, the grapevine, the rumors are that the person got promotion or this thing because of their looks, because of the way they, because of their how they look, or maybe they are good with words, or maybe because of those other things. But they we don't know why they got the promotion. Maybe they genuinely got it because of their hard work and so on. So this same thing can can be their strength, but in the bigger scheme of things, people start complaining about that thing, and it becomes their weakness also. Yeah, if you look around, you will see a lot of examples. Maybe it has happened with you also. You will have to just reflect on these things. uh, yeah, yeah, some examples are coming in my head also, but I would say that you should reflect on this. And what I'm trying to say is that when you are lining up the strengths, that these are the strengths, you should also think that these are strengths in which situation, in which circumstances. Because it's the same characteristic, but if you change the circumstance, it becomes, it converts, a weakness converts into strength, and strength converts into threat, and so on. But you would have to think about this. Institutional analysis, policies, what are the policies, practices, overall regulation system, laws, what you can do, what you cannot do. All of those things are going to impact the thing. So let's say this the time duration for the midterm or or final exam. Am I deciding it? No, I'm not deciding it. But who are you in you are not contacting UV, you are contacting me. Yeah. So but this is something which I am not deciding. If you don't like this, who you going to take your frustration out on? Yeah, who is the person? It's me. So you will be telling me that, this is not good, I'm not happy, and this and that and all of that. Yes, but I'm not the person who decided. Yeah. So think how this can sabotage relationships. Yeah. In an organizational setting where I'm dependent on you, like in terms of work, and you are reporting to me, or I am reporting to you. I have no problem to report to you. You guys are equally smart, maybe more smarter. Yeah. So this will challenge our situation, our dynamics on the big way, because the regulations are set by someone else who is not in this in this in this, what I should say, directly involved. Yeah. This happens in the sometimes policies come from the top leadership, and then they are not the middle managers have to implement them, and then the junior staff start resenting the middle managers that, why you are doing that? Don't you know that 1 minute, one multiple choice question in 1 minute, how I'm going to read it and reflect on it, and you say reflect on this and reflect on that, how I'm going to do that? Yeah. So this is, yes, this is serious. This can become more and more challenging. But then I try to explain you that they are thinking about minimizing your chance to look up the answers and minimizing cheating and all of those things. So it can be very difficult. It can. So at the end of the day, what will happen? You will resent it. At the end of the day, uh, you are going to resent it at the end of the day, especially if you score less. Yeah. You will you love the organization? So organization is trying to work for you. So the organization, the university, what they are trying to do is to have the policies which ensure that the marks you have achieved are not just by pure luck. You got them because you really know the material. That is why, even in tight circumstances, you achieved your score. So, this degree which you got is not a COVID degree, it is a real degree. It is as valuable as the other people, because you uh, the odds were against you, the tight timeline and all of these things, but you managed it because you know the material. So that this is what UV is trying to do. If they give very relaxed arrangements and relaxed laws, then once you graduate, people might start thinking that, these people who graduated in these times, I'm not talking about just this university, overall this is what universities are thinking. So they don't want their graduates to go out in the world, and then people say, oh, you got an easy degree. This is COVID times and relaxed policies and all of. So the university is trying to do something for in your favor, if you look at it. But you might not want to look at that way. You might say, no, it's very tight time and all of these things. So university is trying to do something for you, but the way it is done or whatever is happening, you, at the end of the day, you resent the system. You say, they don't think about us. Yeah. And then the emails are not replied, and communication problem and all of those things which you have to deal with in a university environment. So these are some things which the organization, and university UV is an organization. Same way, any organization will have to think about these things when they are trying to manage change, because this example which we spoke about, this is a very good example of change management, because they are trying to change the way they are evaluating the coursework and all of these things. Yeah. So please think about these things. What I really want to say is that when you will be managing organizational change or these things, you want to be mindful about this, that your regulation, your law, whatever you have decided, might be very, very good. Just like I tried to explain you that universities does not want their degrees to be called COVID degrees because of relaxed, relaxed assessment methods and so on. So that is fine. But in doing that, the customer should not feel resentment. So you should get some communication from the university that, okay, you have this situation. We understand that the time is limited, and what this is just one example, other things, whatever is happening. And then they should tell you, take out time, and then maybe talk to you and tell you that, this is why we are doing it. This is the reason. We want to ensure that when people see your scores, they don't say that, oh, this we don't accept it because this was very relaxed assessment. Yeah. So people may be cheated, or not saying you will cheat, or oh, I'm sure guy is not going to cheat at all. Why would you do that? Yeah. But that perception, remember that iceberg picture, perception and beliefs, it will be very hard to change. So this type of thing you would have to think about when you are looking at diagnostic organizational change, because it is very easy to come up with the plans and all of those things, but when you implement it, how the people will feel, what they will, what they will take away from that, the feelings, the feeling part. Will they feel that the organization is doing it for their benefit, or they will feel that, no, this worked against us, what the feelings and all of those things. So you need to think about these things. Force field, I explained it in the previous clips. Please watch them. Essentially what it is you can reflect on the same example which I was giving a while ago. There is a status quo, and some people are asking for change and some people are resisting the change resistance is a very big topic which we will start talking about from next week. Yeah. So in that, you are trying to bring some equilibrium, or you want to come to a consensus that, okay, this is how we are going to do the thing. So if the people who are saying no to change, if they are more forceful or more powerful, then the change will not happen, something along those lines. So please look into that in your own time. Some guidelines are given how to conduct the conduct the force field and so on. Just like, one friend is saying that she's trying to resist the examination assessment and all of that, but what is the when you are resisting, you have to see that, what is it, it is not going to benefit you, because it is not just one person who will be examined in one way. I've told you, people across the streams, all the streams in this course, they will have the same time. It is not that some streams will have more time and less time. So in that circumstance, when you cannot really change, then the best is that, you just try to make best of that situation. So everyone will be given equal time. You just need to now think that how you can maximize your score in that time. Bring your energy in that, instead of instead of resisting it. Yeah, because change already brings requires a lot of energy, and when you resist it, it takes more of energy, and it kinds of frustrates you, so you cannot perform on the job. So now it is your call, what you want to do in any type of situation. This is just one example. Let's talk about capacity now, capacity building. Yeah, so that is very important, capacity building. And when do you develop when do you develop capacity? When do you develop capacity? You don't develop capacity when the times are rough, and the things are not in your when you are very busy. You can't, just like hurricane. When do you prepare for hurricane? You don't prepare for hurricane when the hurricane is here. You prepare for it a little before. Yeah, you whatever you have to do in your house, your work environment, safe keep your things safe, whatever you have to do, you do it before. Yeah. So you need to work on your capacity in the times when things are not as rough. So as one friend is saying, what would be capacity in this? So capacity would be ability to deal with the situation. Let's call it that. So I gave you example of preparing for your employability after graduation. So what is that? If you prepare now, from now, what are you doing? You are developing your capacity. How can you do that? Let's, because I already gave that example, so let's use that same example for yes. So we are talking about capacity building. So let me connect it with the same example which I was giving earlier about employability. So capacity, how would you, for employability, how would you increase your capacity for the time when you would have graduated, so you can deal with that situation? So there can be different ways. So for example, I was saying that an undergraduate degree is of 3 years, and every year you would get a summer break. Yes. So that summer break which you are getting, what is that? Is that a time to relax and have fun and just not do anything? Yes. So most of the people will do that. I don't look at it that way. I would say that that summer break is to do some type of job, some type of internship, paid, unpaid, whatever you have to do. You would want to do that. Yes. So so every year you are doing that. So first year you do some type of internship in the summer, second year you do it, third year you do it. So by the end you are ready to graduate, you have like, even if you have worked for 6 7 weeks, you have kind of around 5 months 6 months of experience of some type of job. And then this December break, you get kind of December period. A lot of businesses are there which need a lot of help in different type of jobs. They are not big jobs, small jobs, but a lot of businesses need that. So some type of volunteering of that, as you are doing your undergrad degree. So all 3 years of your undergrad degree, you are doing that. So what I'm trying to say, that once you would have graduated, you would have all this experience of summer jobs, local or international. If you want to go overseas, some people do that also. Paid or unpaid does not really matter. All that matters is that you kept yourself busy and you did whatever you could do. So when you will go in a job interview, a person who has not done these type of things and they were just relaxing in the summer and December holidays, their CV is there and your CV is there. So your CV definitely shows that you had built your capacity of dealing with different type of situations in that. Yeah. So when you will be asked some questions in the interview, your responses will reflect the experience which you have gained. For a person who does not have that experience, hands-on practical experience, it will be very hard for them to show that. Yeah, because when you are speaking, your voice, your facial expression, all of those, they are also talking. So when someone has experience, they have experience. When someone does not have those type of experience, they cannot talk as effectively or as influencingly when you compare it with someone who has that type of experience. So that is what would be capacity building. Same thing is for the organization. So as when we were speaking about leadership, I explained you that the leader is someone who can see behind the wall. Everyone can see what is on the wall, but a leader is someone who can see behind the wall. The same way organizations are, they need to foresee, forecast, and then based on what would be the requirements from the environment, from the customers, consumers, they build their capacity in the time when they don't really need it. Yeah. So you are same way, you want to build your capacity of employability right now, although you will be seeking employment after 1 year, 2 years, but that capacity needs to be built right now. Same way for the organizations, they want to foresee what type of changes are coming in the customers buying behavior, in customers choice preferences, and other things like using pestle analysis, what is happening in the economy and what new laws or things are going to come in the future. Think, for example, sustainability. The world is talking about sustainability. Environment sustainable is sustainability is getting huge and huge. Climate change and all of these things. We hear about these all the time. So any product, any service which a business is creating right now, they need to think about these things, that the how friendly they are to the environment, the waste, what is the carbon footprint of the product, of the service, all of those things they need to think. So all these things are going to fall under, they need to fall under capacity and so on. For example, look at this. What happens to companies that do not have the capacity to change? What happens to companies that do not have the capacity to change, or who have not built their capacity over a period of time? What happens to they perish? They are not relevant anymore. Uh, they lose their business, their clientele, and once you have lost it, you have lost it. It is, you can regain it, but it takes a lot of more effort. So it is best practice to keep your clients happy as much as possible, so they don't go to your competition. Because if they go to the competition and they like their product, it will be very hard for them to come back. So in that, with that lens which I shared you, please reflect on these things. We spoke about employees, we spoke about uh, organization. I gave you UV example, but you can think about other things in your own time. Essentially, what it is to forecast, foresee what the future is going to be like, and then and then and once you understand that what the future is going to be like, then you prepare according to it. So if you are going to become more technology in the service industry, let's say, you need to start training your workers, your employees, and so on for that from now. uh, so that is what it is, I think, in a nutshell. But think about these things. Change is, of course, not easy. It is very hard. It is very complicated. There are many reasons to this. Human beings generally go back to their habits, tendencies. What I would say, as we are talking about organizational change, I would say that human resource hiring activity is very important for this. Very important. When you are hiring, you need to you need to really find the right people who really gel in, who fit in the culture, the organizational dynamics. Because if even if you get a good fit, they would still have to change and become a little bit, comfortable with the current environment and status quo. But if the person is not a good fit, then it will become a very big challenge, because they will also sabotage the morale of other workers. We get affected, impacted by the things other people say. Uh, it does impact us at some level. Different people react differently, but it does has some influence, because we are social beings. We are not working like, it's not like in isolation. You have an organization, different people, different mindsets are working. So what I would say is that this finding the right fit for the organization is very important, and that is only possible if the leaders, the owners, the the people who are managing the company or organization, they really understand their direction. They should be very clear why they are in the business, what they want to achieve, what is the kick for them. All these questions should be very clear in their hearts and minds. Not just minds, it is also about heart. In their values, in their, all these things, it should be very clear, so they know that what type of people they want, what type of workforce they want to attract. And when the leadership is clear, it shows to a prospective worker also. So the workers who want to engage with that type of company, they would also, you know submit their application and would want to come. And essentially, in the as we were talking about employability and so on, in the what you really want to demonstrate is that what you really want to demonstrate is that you are the right fit for the job. So yes, the intelligence and know-how and knowledge, all of those experience, all of those things are important, but you also need to be the right fit. And what is the fit into the cultural practices, in the atmosphere, in the environment, all these things which we have been talking about, in the aspiration, in the motivation, fit into that is very important. Right fit. This person is right fit for the job, right candidate for the job. That is very important, because if you have more people who are right fit, then it will be easier to bring in any type of, relatively easier. It will still have complications and challenges, but relatively it will be easier to drive any type of change, because people are of same mindset. uh, Not 100%, but most of the times. Yes, so I think that is good. You can please read this article in your own time. There is also a case study posted. Please reflect on these things which we said today, and try to reflect on these. And I think you should also try to think about your own personal experiences and try to link it with all this diagnostic and force field and resistance, and essentially reflect on that. What are some of the best practices you can think of in these type of situations? What should people do, and so on. I think that is